What up, guys? James from Bolt Bros here. Hey, let's talk about our wide receivers and what to expect for 2024 from these wide receivers for yards and touchdowns. Let's not give my predictions, but let's give AI the chance to give us predictions for our wide receiver group for 2024. So let's go ahead and get into it, guys. Bolt Bros, let's go.
Bolt Bros!
All right, guys, once again, appreciate all the love and support too. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not. We always appreciate your love and support. And please, let's hear from you in the comments below. Love to be able to hear from you and your thoughts about this video and maybe something I missed within the wide receiver group. But it's an interesting group all around this year for the 2024 group. You know, once again, a lot of shifting, a lot of guys that have been here for a bit and have moved on since. So once again, no Mike Williams, no Keenan Allen. I mean, I know it's running back room, but Austin Eckler, I've always kind of looked at him as like a wide receiver 3. But guess what? New regime comes in, new talent, got to make adjustments. We obviously had a lot of salary cap situations that we got to deal with. That's why some of these players stuck around and actually took some pay cuts, or they saw the door and that's it. See you later, guys. So it's never generally good to be able to not have your reliable targets like Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, but at the same side, it didn't get the job done before, so we got to move on. Now, what we did is we got a lot of guys out there. We got DJ Chark, obviously, Lad McConkey. Joshua Palmer's got a camaraderie already with Justin Herbert, Quinton Johnston, Darius Davis. Those are the guys that we're pretty much just going to chat about at this point that seem to be locks for wide receivers for this team. But it's going to be an interesting season all around. I know a lot of teams out there, or excuse me, the experts out there are putting Chargers as like one of the worst wide receiver groups. Come on. Justin Herbert could make wide receivers even better. I guarantee that. So once again, even we got Sanjay Lau too. He's done a great job as a wide receiver coach wherever he's gone, and he's pulled out a lot of talent for a lot of wide receivers throughout the NFL and done great jobs of developing talent. So I think this is a great place for him to be at all around. And he will do a great job in Greg Roman's offense to be able to get the best out of all the wide receivers. So let's just jump into the wide receivers here and some of the predictions that AI has given us. Thought it was interesting about Quinton Johnston. Basically, we all know who he is. We was a first-round pick last season. I feel like Tom Telesco basically said, hey, look, you got guys in front of you. Don't worry about it. You don't need to really focus too heavily on this year. We're going to be looking at you next year kind of thing. And, well, lo and behold, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams get injured. We got to throw Quinton Johnston out there. Didn't seem totally prepared and mentally ready to go for the season. But it's interesting to see what AI gave us. They gave us 65 to 85 catches for Quinton Johnston, about 900 to 1,100 yards, 6 to 9 touchdowns this year. That is crazy for him. That would be a massive year for Quinton Johnston and probably even quiet some of the critics out there too. That would be a really big year. And the reason why too, on top of that, Greg Roman has only had, I think, Hollywood Brown as one of his 1,000 yard receivers. Ravens in general don't have a lot of 1,000 receivers. It's just how they work. Very heavy physical game on the run game. And just kind of have a bunch of guys out there that could be some wide receivers out there for us. We're not probably going to, under Joe Ortiz, we're probably not going to be seeing a lot of these, hey, we're going to pay $30 million for a wide receiver type situation. I think we're going to be kind of moving around our wide receiver group pretty often. So, hey, if Quinton Johnston could emerge like this on his year 2, that would be massive for us. We all know in the factors-wise that they put down in here too is Johnson's development and size make him a prime candidate for a major role in this offense. Once again, Jim Harbaugh's talked about it. They didn't work him or utilize him to his strengths. Really do some quick slants, just get the ball in his hands, let him use his yak ability. He came out of college as one of the top wide receivers in yards after catch. They've talked about it already. I think Greg Roman, Jim Harbaugh's already talked about it. They didn't utilize him last year properly. If they do that this year, I guarantee he'll have a very good year all around. And even if you look at some of the highlights from last year, he's done a pretty good job when he did get the ball, say, in the flat and be able to utilize his speed a bit. He's got a little wiggle room. He's got quick feet. He has the ability to find a way to get extra yards. And I think Quinton Johnston could fit very well in this offense. So I'm excited to see what Quinton Johnston could do this year. Could be a good breakout all around. Maybe even a sneaky fantasy football pick. Who knows? Moving on. Ladd McConkey, second round pick for us. Man, I think Ladd has huge upside this year in this offense. Why I say that is Justin Herbert even talked about it. He said, hey, look, this guy's already picked up the offense, and he looks like a 4 to 5 year type vet in the NFL already. You got to love when you hear your star quarterback is looking at your rookie wide receiver saying, this guy could be the man. And the prediction that they threw out here, I think is very, very low for Ladd McConkey, in my opinion. I mean, they predicted 20 to 40 receptions, 300 to 500 yards, 2 to 4 touchdowns. I don't think that's the case. I think he has great potential to be much higher than that, potentially even to double those stats too. He has the ability to be able to be that guy that I think could get over 100 plus type targets this year. I think he has a good chance to get about 6 to 7-ish type touchdowns this year. He has a chance to probably get to 900, potentially even 1,000 this year in receptions, or excuse me, yards. I kind of put him as he could potentially be a Puka Nacua. Now, once again, Puka Nacua had a phenomenal season last year, but what I'm saying is that he could be one of those breakout rookies this year with just a high amount of targets, high amount of catches. He could be that guy that could fit extremely well in this offense day one. Once again, when Justin Herbert says that good things about him, you know he's already clicking with him and he's understanding each other. That's what you want to do. I think that he could very much surprise a lot of people out there on how Ladd McConkey could be. Once again, he's just a fast Keenan Allen, a guy that knows how to be able to get open, great hands, and knows how to be able to be much faster than Keenan Allen all around. So I'm excited to be able to see what Ladd McConkey can do. So that is exciting. Moving on. Josh Palmer. Once again, he has a lot of camaraderie already with Justin Herbert. They know each other. And to be honest, when Josh Palmer's out on the field, he does a good job. I mean, he's had multiple 100-yard games without Keenan Allen, Mike Williams on the field being the number one. Very reliable in the slot, great as a rotational receiver. Third option is what they provided him. I think that's kind of to be honest, in this offense, I think it's going to be very much a lot of spread. There's not going to be really a wide receiver one. We know Justin Herbert does a great job going through progressions on every single throw. He could go through 4 or 5 progressions very quickly and know where to go from that point. It's about, within this offense, finding a way to get open. Josh Palmer does a good job for route running. Ladd McConkey does a great job in route running. I think that, Quinton Johnston could be a great guy for us downfield, slant type options, quick read, get the ball out of Justin Herbert's hands quick, give the wide receiver the opportunity to find a way to get downfield. Now, I do think that being a physical team, we're going to see a lot of blocking from our wide receivers, and I'm going to love to see that because I love that about the Niners system, that they do a great job of downfield blocking all throughout to make sure the wide receiver gets some help to be able to make plays happen. So I think it's very interesting about Josh Palmer with the 40 to 60 receptions, 500 to 700 yards, 3 to 5 touchdowns. I feel that's actually pretty fair for him. I feel like they kind of knocked it out of the park. And I think that's a good level of where Josh Palmer is going to be this year. Once again, he's had good improvements all throughout the last years. And obviously he knows Justin Herbert already. So he could be a very, very reliable guy for Justin Herbert to lean on, which kind of Keenan Allen was kind of that guy for him. So Josh Palmer, I'm looking for it. And I think this is a very, very good example of what to expect too from him this year. DJ Chark. Sorry, I had to do it. Every time I think of his name, I think of that song. But big thing about DJ, fast, very much one of those guys that has a very good ability to for body control, can make those dynamite electric type plays for you. He's a guy that can really stretch the field for you. It's just about him being healthy all around. Now, predictions that they gave him, 50 to 70 receptions, 700 to 900 yards, 5 to 7 touchdowns. That's a pretty good season, in my opinion, for DJ Chark. A guy that basically needs to be able to be on field is DJ Chark. I think that he has great ability to be a very, very strong receiver for us and be that downfield threat all around, spread out their defense, spread out our offense, be a threat downfield. Once again, when you watch some of his highlights, man, he makes some phenomenal catches all around. And I'm excited to be able to see DJ Chark out with Justin Herbert and a phenomenal quarterback, one of his best quarterbacks that he's ever had in his career, and thrive in this offense. Greg Roman obviously is not known for passing all around. I think that he did take a year off from coaching, and And I think that allowed him to be able to think a little bit more about passing routes, new plays, try to make sure he integrates a little bit more passing ability within his offense. Now, he's still going to go physical because that's obviously Jim Harbaugh. That's what Greg Roman does. They love to run the ball and just punch people in the mouth. And I'm all good for that. And I love it. But I think that you're going to see a little bit more of a dynamic wide receiver, or a passing game all around from Justin Herbert, just because you have a weapon, guys. Obviously, he had Lamar Jackson in 2019 plus for multiple years and did get an MVP with Lamar Jackson. But Lamar Jackson's a different type of quarterback than Justin Herbert. You know what? You're getting a huge arm talent, a guy that knows how to understand the offense. Love to see in like the OTAs just how Greg Roman just ran and raving about Justin Herbert and how he is as a quarterback. So could be electric all around, but expect a very spread wide receiver type statistics throughout. It's not going to be generally one guy. All right, moving on to Darius Davis. Now, once again, with Darius Davis, I mean, he's a special team guy. We all know him in that. He's got lots of speed all around, can be a deep threat. Even in OTAs, you did see a lot of downfield throws in OTAs that Justin Herbert's thrown out to Darius Davis. So maybe we're going to utilize him for that extra speed guy. I mean, once again, Darius has the ball in his hands. It's fun to watch. I think they didn't utilize him enough in the run game, in my opinion, which I do expect that to be happening a little bit in this offense, using him on sweeps and such. I think he would be phenomenal. I think it would be kind of cool to be able to even use him in some sort of bunch formations with some screens and such too. I think he would do great in that role too. So once again, prediction, it's 10 to 20 receptions, 150 to 300 yards, 1 to 2 touchdowns. Pretty fair, in my opinion. I think this is once again a very spread offense. I don't expect Darius Davis to be a big contributor on the offensive side, but I do expect him a little bit more on the run game of things too. And also, obviously, his special teams ability. I think he has the ability to get a lot of touchdowns on that side, especially with the new kickoff rules. I think it's a little interesting of how that all works. But once again, this is who we have for the 5 receivers on the team. Give or take, this adds about 3,500 yards to Justin Herbert's stat sheet just for the wide receiver core. 27 touchdowns. That's pretty good all around for us. Now you got to add the tight end room. You got to add the running back room and such too. You know what? He could be in that kind of 4,500-ish type range of yards this year passing. So I feel very strongly this is probably a pretty accurate assumption about on the high end 3,500 yards passing to the wide receivers, give or take 27 touchdowns, which would be phenomenal. Obviously, we could kind of add some other guys too, like a Brandon Rice, if he does make the 53-man squad. I don't think he'll have a huge year this year, but who knows? Sometimes camp heroes do show up and find ways to basically make something happen. We have so many wide receivers on this team right now, guys, but I think these are the 5 guys that are pretty much locked for this team. Who knows if we're going to be able to get a 6th guy as a wide receiver on this team, but who knows? We'll see. But I'd love to hear from you guys. Once again, like this video, subscribe to this channel if you've not. Throw some comments in below and love to be able to hear from you and your thoughts on the wide receiver room. What are these predictions, these AI predictions? Do they make sense? Or are they kind of weird, off? Do you think it's more or less? Who knows? Let's talk. Throw some comments below. Love to be able to hear from you guys. Once again, James from Bolt Bros. Let's go.